Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Grassy, and today we're going to be looking into what are line traces. So, by the end of this video, hopefully, I can answer these three questions, and that is what is a line trace, why do games use them, and how can we use them for your current and future projects. So, I'm going to be first explaining what is a line trace. A line trace is just like how it sounds. It's just simply tracing a line, or it's just a line that's between a start point and an end point. And where are line traces used? Line traces are used usually in games like Halo for shooting. They're usually used in shooting weapons. That's what they are. They are used for like some other things as well. Things like interacting with like doors and objects, or checking if you have walls near you for things like wall running, or checking what material you are walking on so you can change the sound effects, stuff like that. We're not going to get into that. I'll make videos later on about that. But right now, their primary use is for going and like shooting weapons. So things like Halo do use line traces. They usually don't use projectile-based shooting. Projectile-based shooting is when you shoot a gun, and instead of it shooting an invisible line and you're instantly hitting your target, it spawns a projectile or an object, and that has a lot of velocity behind it, and that flies. So things like Fortnite, you shoot a sniper, it shoots out at a very fast rate, and it will fall over time, and it's a physical object. Whereas a line trace, you simply have your gun, you imagine a muzzle, and it will shoot a line from the start of that muzzle, or that's the start point, and it will go a certain range, however far you want it to be, and you'll have an end point. Anything between those 2 points that gets in the way of that is hit. It's been hit by the line trace. If that is, let's say, an enemy, then we can get information from that enemy. We can get what actor we hit. If it is an enemy, let's go and take damage off it. Let's go and apply damage to it. Let's take health off it. It's things like that. We can choose to ignore stuff. So if we want to be like, hey, we don't want this line trace to hit things like friends, stuff like that. You don't want to have friendly fire unless you do games like Rainbow Six Siege. So that's basically what a line trace is. It's simply a way of shooting guns under the hood. It's a way of saying, hey, let's go and shoot a gun, and a way of seeing what we hit. So I've made a little example project here. This is using the first person template. So I will urge you, if you are following along, to download or create a first person Unreal Engine 5 template project, just so it's a lot easier for you guys to follow along. And I've made a little reticle here, so I'll show you how to do the whole setup first before you even begin. So then all you have to worry about after is just the line trace. And this will be in a 2-part series, or a 2-part thing, just because it will go for a little bit longer. I want to explain everything as deeply and crucially as I can to you guys, because I don't want you to just follow exactly what I'm doing. I want you to be able to really grasp the idea, and not go and watch these other videos and just learn or copy what they're doing, and then you have no idea what to do. I see a lot of people that make these YouTube videos about how to do a certain thing. You have no idea why you're doing any of the stuff they're showing you. How you still get the same results, but you have no idea what the hell is going on. So I'm going to show you here. If I shoot, you can see it shoots a line from my gun's muzzle, okay, all to a certain distance. So if I shoot in the sky, you can see it's a certain range, and then it ends, okay? And it always ends in the center of my screen, no matter how far or how close I am. You can see I can be right here, right against the wall, and you can see it always shoots right into the middle, okay? That's the advanced version of the line trace, and it is an extra 8 nodes, I believe. There is a less complicated version, and you're more than happy to do it. However, I urge you not to do it, because it won't provide the best results. And you can see here, if I shoot up in the sky, it just does the same thing. Shoots from my gun's muzzle, all the way to the center of my screen and a certain distance away, right? However, you can see it isn't actually hitting right in the center if I'm closer. So the closer that the whatever I hit gets to me, you can see you get to a point where it's like, okay, well, we aren't even hitting the middle anymore. And you might be thinking, okay, hold on, why would you show us this? Why don't you just show us how to do the advanced version? The reason why is because I want to show you why we're doing the advanced version. I don't want you to go and see the advanced version that we're doing and then be like, hey, hold on, this guy said to do this. Why are we doing this way? His one's way better. But then he actually doesn't get you the results that you want, and then you're very unsatisfied. My whole point is to teach you exactly what everything is doing under the hood, or what every node is doing. Not to a crazy level, but so that you actually understand what everything's doing and how to modify that to to be able to choose, hey, where do you want to shoot our line trace from the side of our gun, or do you want to shoot it from our hand, or very weird things like that. So we go here. What I want you to do first is I'm going to help you set up the project first. There's nothing crazy to do. You won't have this YouTube file. That's only for me. However, what I want you to do first is go to your first person arms, animations, and to your blueprint here. Make sure you go to animation graph, anim graph, double click on it. Now, I'm not going to be explaining anything in here because this isn't any tutorial about animation, stuff like that. But basically, the animations are getting in the way because we're not using their blueprint version of the gun that comes with the first-person shooter, the one where it makes the annoying sound and shoots the massive yellow ball. Because we're not using that, it's going to be messing up our animations, and we're not going to be able to hold our gun properly. So you'll see there'll be 3 nodes here in this little area. Just delete them. You'll see there'll be a node like this. It'll be called base animations, I believe. Yep, base animations. You want to delete it, and then you want to delete the boolean and then the blend by bool. So there'll be 3 nodes, and then leave the top one. The top one will then be disconnected. You just want to plug that straight back in. Done. Okay, get rid of that. You don't need it anymore. Make sure you delete the gun that's in the scene. Okay, you'll see it right around here. Delete it. After you've done that, we want a reticle to pop up on our screen, right? Because we want to be able to debug and see, hey, where is our line trace hitting? Is it actually hitting in the middle? It's a lot harder to see it without any type of reticle. So what we can do is we can go to make a new folder, or you can just make it in this section here. But I've got it in my YouTube folder. You want to make a widget. Right click, go to your user widget, go widget blueprint, type use, and click user widget. That's going to create a new class. I'm going to delete it though because I've already got one. And then you want to open it up. You want to call it W_main, just because W is the industry standard Unreal Engine way of saying things. Things like BP stands for blueprint. Things like widgets, you want to have W_main. That's like just the way that people type. Open it up, and then you want to go and type canvas panel, or just canvas. Grab it, add it to your thing here, and you'll see I've already got one, but you just want to add it to this W_main. You'll then have a canvas panel. Then I want you to type border. Okay, now you want to drag that and put that on the canvas panel. Okay, done. Now go to your border, and you want to make sure you click on the anchor and you click it on the middle one. Done. Make sure you reset all these to 0. All of these, so from the position X, Y, size X, size Y, in the alignment, you make sure you set them all to 0, okay? And then for the size and Y, so size X, size Y, make it 5. The reason why we're making it 5 is because that's just how big the reticle is. We're making it a square. If you want it to be smaller, just make it a smaller number. If you want it to be 2 by 2, it'll be much smaller, a little bit more accurate, stuff like that. So you can put whatever value you want in here. Bigger numbers will make the square bigger, but just make sure that they're squared, meaning that they are the same value. So if you have 3, make sure you have 3 for both of them. Then for the alignment, you want to set them both to 0.5. That makes sure that's dead in the middle. Okay. After you've done that, go to your first person character. Very simple. Go to your begin play. When the character spawns, okay, I'm not going super extensive over all of this because this isn't a part of the tutorial. This is just a setup for learning how to do this. You want to go and get your player controller, okay? Just type get player controller. Done. You want to then go and type create widget. You want to plug that straight into there. You want to choose your class. This will be W_main or whatever you called it. Okay, Then off that, you just want to type add to viewport. Done. Okay, and make sure you connect this up to the begin play. So your stuff should look basically like this. Okay, now when we go in, see we've got a little reticle where we'll be able to go and test and see if our line trace really does hit the dead center. After that's done, go to your viewport. Again, I know there is a lot of setup here, or quite a bit, just because I want to make sure that you guys actually understand what's really going on and being able to actually have a thing set up so you can do it properly. Go to your first person character mesh. Okay, you want to add a skeletal mesh component, right? I'm going to click that. I've already got one. Okay, it will automatically parent it. After you make it, call it weapon, okay, or whatever you want, but I just call it weapon just so it's easy. Make sure it is underneath your first person mesh, so when you close it, it doesn't appear anymore. So then it's parented to the mesh. Go to your weapon, click parent socket, this little file search thing here, and just type hand R. Click hand R. What we're doing is we're parenting this to the right hand, meaning that whenever our hand moves or whatever, it's going to move with it. Okay. And then all you got to do is to make it look nicer, you can just move the arms around, whatever, however you want, and just make it look nice. And then you'll get to a point where you can make it look somewhat like this instead of how it normally looks, which is very odd. It's very like down and like inwards, stuff like that. It just looks very bad. So you can set it up and to look like this. So that's basically the entire setup that we've got now. So also you want to add a variable called range. This will just be how far our line trace goes. Okay. And then I set it to 10,000. That's just the range we pretty much want. Hey guys, so I was just editing here and I forgot to add in a crucial part to this setup tutorial. And that is adding a socket to your skeletal mesh weapon. So if you are following along with the video and you are using the FPS template, go to your FP weapon file, go to your mesh and sk_FP gun. You'll see it's a skeletal mesh here. You can just click on it and we actually don't have to do anything with this gun. It already has it, the socket on it. You can see here it has muzzle and you can tell it's a socket because it has a little speaker icon. Now, if you do get a weapon from online, things like the Unreal Marketplace or Sketchfab are the two most common places. Sometimes those weapons don't actually come with any sockets on them. They don't come with a muzzle socket or anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to go to your root bone. If you do have a custom weapon, right click on it and go add socket. Okay. And then you can call this whatever you want, right? And then you can see here, I can move it. Now, if you don't have a muzzle socket, you want to make this socket and then you want to go and move it. And you want to move it basically right in the middle, kind of like where you feel like your gun would be shooting from. So move it pretty close to like there. You don't want it inside the gun like this. You just want it right on the edge like that. And that's your muzzle socket done. So that's how to add one in. If you are using custom weapons, again, you will need to do this because this is where we're shooting the line trace from. If you don't have any type of socket here, we will not be able to shoot a line trace. You would have to go and choose one of these bones, and obviously none of them are in a good position to shoot a line trace from. You don't want to be shooting from the middle of your gun or the magazine. So that's basically how to add a socket in. Okay, so because I said this was a two-part series, this was simply just telling you what a line trace is, how to use stuff like this. This isn't the end of the video. This is the part one. I'm going to go and now make part two, and I'm going to release them both at the same time. So it's just so it keeps it nice and fresh. You have two parts. You don't have to sit through an entire 30-minute video, stuff like that. Okay, the next part, we're going to be going over all this and what it all does, okay? Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in, guys, and I'll see you in the next part.